All right. Well, what I wanted to lead into kind of, you hear this by some of the wrestlers. I know Goldberg has mentioned this before. I want to say some other ones too. Kurt Angle's kind of teased it a little bit too. Um, did you kind of, if like, where is there an interest of you going, maybe doing MMA or anything like that? Or did you ever have an interest in that? I know you grew up a wrestling fan, so I don't know if it kind of crossed over enough as it much did for like the other guys, but did you ever kind of have an interest in doing that once you saw it?
So MMA wasn't around until I was already on my way with wrestling. Like even kickboxing, people didn't even know what that was. I had to explain it. When I told people I would kickbox, and they didn't know what that was. It was like it's. I think it's in Ferris Bueller where he's like taking a girl on a date and says, "I'm taking kickboxing. It's the sport of the future." Telling the girl's dad so he'll feel safe on the date. But it's that guy anyway. Even if it's not Ferris Bueller, it's that actor.
Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, for sure. And I laughed at that because I was a kickboxer, so that's a big spot for me. But MMA wasn't around until I was already. I'd been wrestling a while. I'd already been, I was already making a living at it and on my way up and stuff. And so, like the first MMA, what MMA is, it's mixed martial arts. And what the first UFC and the first several were, they were like, let's put a sumo wrestler against a Kenpo karate dude and just see what happens. And that was my buddy Keith Hackney and Emmanuel Yarbrough, and he took him out. I think his name was Emmanuel Yarbrough. Actually, that might be I think I have his name wrong. But anyway, let's take a boxer and a kung fu guy and put them together. Let's take a jiu-jitsu expert and put him in there with a pit fighter, whatever the fuck that is. And so, but it was very entertaining. But it seemed like that was around 93. I think I was already living in Savannah, Georgia at that time, and had been wrestling 3 or 4 years, and wrestling in Japan and everything. So if it was around when I was 17, 18, no question about it, I totally would have been into it. I was trying to take every martial art that I could and just absorb everything and take every challenge and spar in every class, even of arts that I didn't know and stuff. And I was just so hungry to learn and to prove myself to myself, probably. But I've always been a fan of it. And then after the first several UFCs, we actually learned what really would work more in a situation like that, because there's always the arguments of which art is best, and then you put him in there and it's like, wow, it doesn't matter how much Tai Chi, if you're in there with the boxer dude and get knocked out, what good did all that fanning do for you? And it's like, that's what MMA is. It's mixed martial arts. That's how it became. It's a hybrid of everything, and it's fucking awesome. So I'm a fan.
It's a lot of fun. I watched it this past weekend, and they had the big fights on there, and I'm a casual fan, so I don't know the names offhand, but it is really intriguing to watch. And even if the guys just go the distance, it's like, that's a fucking good ass fight. They're just laying it in.
Yeah, and I think, like, I got all the respect for those guys as being the best athletes in the world. Because you got to stay at your very tip-top shape when you're doing that, because you're fighting other people that think they're the toughest people in the world from Japan or fucking, India, wherever. And it's like, you're in that weight class, you're in their way, and, you don't want to give up any edge that you don't have to. So those guys got to train their balls off.
Oh, gosh, yeah, it's unbelievable the amount of work that they put themselves through. And then, like, some of those fights, they don't last very long, and it's like, okay, back to the drawing board. And you got to get used to the aspect of almost kind of like getting knocked out. That's just part of the game. It's like, if you get knocked out, that's it.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy to go through the up and down emotions of that and have the whole world seeing you knocked out and have your ego be okay with that. After you've told everybody there's no way it's going to happen, you're winning. That takes an amazing, flexible emotional state. And by the way, on the other side of the spectrum, some of the fights do last long and they go 5 whole fucking 5-minute rounds. Can you imagine? Like that's like, with a minute in between, that's like, okay, it's 7:28 now. By the time you're done fighting, it's fucking gonna be 8 o'clock. That's crazy.
Dude, it's nuts. I can barely box for like 2 minutes straight and I'm winded. I'm just out of it.
Well, somebody's got all their weight on you, pressing
Yeah.
against you. Yeah, it's
Oh,
great athletes.
great athletes. So say if UFC was at its height when you were about 17, do you think you would have just transitioned right out of wrestling and gone into the UFC? Or would you still have been intrigued by pro wrestling to kind of stick around and do that?
I mean, hypothetically, I guess I probably would have done both.
Okay. Yeah.
I did that with. That's how it was with the kickboxing. I got into kickboxing because I wanted to wrestle, right? And I had to go to the kickboxing classes in order to use the ring. So that was what got me into it. And then, but I was already a fan, of like chop sake, martial arts films, late night. Like I loved that stuff. So I was interested. It wasn't like I was forced into it, you know what I mean? But I found I was doing really good, knocked all my friends out and could take a hell of a beating. I had, had endurance and was picking up on everything that our instructor, Kit Likens, was teaching us. And then he had his own fighters and I was hanging with them, and got people that had years of experience or had alleged championship belts or whatever. And then, and I worked my way up through that, and Kit Likens had 2 losses, and I ended up eventually going to one of the guys, Terry Gay, who had beat Kit, and me and Dango both, went and started sparring with his guys, and his guys were really good. I mean, they were big, at least my size, and had like 10 years experience, and were adults, were older than us, not kids. And these guys, we would beat the hell out of each other, and we would go and we'd drive to, I can't remember if it was Clearwater or Coldwater. I get that mixed up in my head because there was both Clearwater and Coldwater, Michigan. But we would, me and Dango would go, and Terry was happy to have us for food for his guys or whatever. But we would almost be fighting. I mean, we would be like sparring very, very rough, like 90%, and with egos too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to out fight their team, you know what I mean, and only hold back when you think you really caught somebody in the nose. You're like, oh, are you okay? All right, cool. Bam, and keep going. Man. Yeah, but man, I learned so much during that. And Terry Gay, every once in a while, he would hit the ring with us, and just he could hit me at will anytime he wanted. He was so fast. And I hated that. He was long and tall and skinny, and he was just so fast, I couldn't even see it coming. I just be like, bam, God dang it, bam, motherfucker. But anyway, I remember when I did the Tough Man contest, I was schooling with the Sheik, and I thought that the Sheik would be upset that I did that because he had such an onerous contract that said any bookings I take would go through him for the first 2 years, and he owned me at that time while I was making the payments to him. And I thought if he found out that I was doing the Tough Man contest, that he would look at it, like I was being unfaithful to him, So I remember being scared of that, and then thinking like, wow, I kind of felt like I was in a Y, like a crossroads where I could maybe pursue either one. I was thinking, let's just do both and see what happens. And in wrestling, just took off.
Yeah. How did the Sheik react when you figured out you were in the Tough Man too?
I don't think I ever told him.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't remember ever having the conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
I did 2 of them. No, I did 3 of them actually. But the first year, I went to the one in Battle Creek. And then I was like, whoa, I can hang with these guys. Holy crap, I got to. And then the one in Kalamazoo was a couple months later. I think ours was in December. And then in Kalamazoo was in March. So I went into that. I entered that one in March. And that must have been 90. Yeah, I mean, I have the trophy. That's what it says. and yeah, that's the year that I was, doing my first dozen matches with Sheik and still schooling with him. So, but I mean, I told Sabu, but we had a lot of secrets that we wouldn't tell Sheik because we didn't want to get him mad at us.
Right, right.
But yeah,
Well,
I remember thinking, that, hey, you know what? If I get an opportunity to do like professional kickboxing or something and can get paid for it or whatever, then cool. Same with wrestling. That's how I felt at that time. And it wasn't long after that, I guess, that wrestling started like really picking up. And then USWA's like 4 matches a week. And when that was over, I'm like, where's the next territory? Where's the next one?
yeah, yeah. Oh man, what a fascinating lifestyle though. Trying to live that MMA life, and or taking any of those sorts of classes is like, it's a commitment, and it definitely takes some
Fuck
time
yeah.
to get used to it. So
You don't want to go into that half-hearted. No
no,
way.
no, you don't. You'll learn soon enough if you do.
Yeah, but a lot of guys do. There are a lot of guys that, like, it's their dream to have one fight. I just want to get in the cage, just do it one time and
Yeah,
for the rush or whatever. And that's almost like doing it half-hearted when you think about the guys that just train all year round and are in a whole different. They're like a whole different species.
God,
The
yeah.
conditioning and their reaction time and just everything is like peak. But I guess you can get there. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
we can all be at our best.
Absolutely. It's funny when I go to the gym and I'm like hitting the bag, it's like I feel so slow when I do it. And then when I go up there, I see somebody else like sparring with somebody and stuff like that, and they're just rapid fast. And I'm just like, geez, how far am I behind on all this stuff? It's just like, holy shit. Kind of puts you in a humbling position. But hey,
You got to have someone show you how to do it. Have you
I
had that? Have
know.
you had training or have
No,
you
no
had training?
training, no training at all. I just kind of like hit the bag. Luckily, an old boxer guy was kind of watching me, and he was like, "Hey, keep your elbows in a little bit more." And so and I thought I was keeping my elbows in, but I wasn't. So then it helped. So I was kind of like, I got to watch some videos, and definitely like they have classes there, so I might dabble in that at some point. So
Yeah, the thing most likely you're too tense.
Mhm.
And your arms are flexing while you're hitting, and that shit slows you down. Like, to be fast, as Bruce Lee says, you must be like water. But it's true. Like, I used to always do the grab the quarter, out of your hand trick. Someone put a quarter in, and I'd be like, bam, and grab the quarter out. I haven't done that in so long, and my wrists sometimes don't move as much as they used to. But that's something I learned after. Well, actually, I learned that when I was training for the second Tough Man contest, because the guy, James Williams, that was the photographer from the first Tough Man contest, and the referee's brother, I started training with that guy, and he taught me all these weird, unorthodox things. One of them was how to grab a quarter out of somebody's hand before they can close their hand. And I got so good at it, that was my trick, my party trick. And I would have my hands way down on my side and have their hand up by my face, be like, bam. But you have to be so loose, though, in order to do it. And when you learn that, you'll be able to punch way faster.
You know what? And I think you're 100% right on that, because when I'm hitting the bag, I can feel my whole arm tense, like it's
Yeah,
all flexed and everything like that.
it's
So
still a good workout, but you're not going to
oh
hit it
yeah.
as fast.
Okay, I'm gonna be more cognizant of that. Wow, I already got a lesson. All right.